Hello, my beautiful human family. It is Ashen here. Let's empower each other and create a new earth and rise together. And today we are talking about a grounded view of the law of attraction. So let's get into it. When we came into this life, when we created the intention to come down into the physical reality, we manifested ourselves on this planet in a body with a number of different things at our disposal and also at our detriment. Things like the ego, things like our mind, our emotions, our body, things like the laws of physics, things like the law of attraction. And guess what? All of these things and more play into each other and interact with each other. You cannot exit into one without the other, without being in reality with your pre-birth intention, and without being in reality with the physical dimension in your physical body. We came down to earth with the intention of creating expansion and learning about ourselves, learning about oneness through the experience of individuality, individual perspective, ego, separation through the opposite. And so our intention was to come down here and learn about joy and learn about pleasure and learn about expansion and learn about desire and learn about unity and learn about love and learn about oneness from the experience of polarity, of experiencing separation, of experiencing hopelessness and powerlessness and experiencing hate and experiencing anger, for example. And the expansion comes from bridging the gap from this side of the polarity to this side of the polarity and having the experiences of both. So we created an identity. We created a sense of self, a sense of perspective. And that perspective has so much value. It is a perspective that cannot be found anywhere else in the universe. But it is also a limited perspective to this information that can't be found anywhere else in the universe. It has that information within it, but nothing really outside of it unless we expand that perspective to take in that which is outside of it and become an expanded version of ego. Our ego, or our identity, or our human self is an extension of our mind, of our emotions, and of our physical body. And each of these three things are all a resource through which the ego can manifest if it would wish to. One of the biggest problems when it comes to the law of attraction and when it comes to our spiritual concepts and ideology in and of themselves is that we are looking at multi-dimensional versions of this world and trying to superimpose them onto the physical dimension. And we are looking at spirituality or the spiritual dimension as separate from the physical world. And we're looking at spirituality as some kind of hack to the physical dimension, again, from a place of thinking it's separate. All of this makes no sense because we are integrated within the spiritual dimension. We are the spiritual dimension. We are just a different density of it. And our physical bodies are the spiritual dimension. It's just that we're a different density, and there is no our spirit coming into our body from the multidimensional universe. No, our physical vessel, our physical body is also an extension of our spirit. There is no separation to it. We are a manifested aspect of our spirit. The idea that it's coming into the body is too much of a physical dimensional view of it when it's actually an integrated state of being. It is actually just a different density or a different level to the spirit in and of itself. It is the spirit. Another huge misconception that is completely out of reality with the law of attraction is anything that is talking about the law of attraction or the law of mirroring as if it exists on its own. The law of attraction, the law of mirroring, actually is interacting with so many other laws to the physical dimension. It is only one law. And a lot of these laws have been scientifically proven, scientifically discovered, and we can even understand that the law of attraction in and of itself has been scientifically proven through things like quantum mirroring, through things like quantum field theory, through different experiments that prove that we are all connected and having an impact on other physical things simply with our thoughts, our emotions, and our presence. So when you go to the fifth dimension, for example, or even the fourth dimension, for example, if you want to manifest something, you simply just wish it into existence and boom, it comes and it shows up as an extension of you and mirroring it. But that would be super, super, super dangerous in the physical world because of how many negative thoughts we are thinking all the time and how many negative polarities we are playing with all the time. There needed to be a lag time installed in order to make it so that it gave us a little bit more of a chance. And this is why the law of attraction takes a ton of momentum from our mind, a ton of momentum from our physical body, momentum from a place of action, and momentum from our emotional self. We actually need to use both our mind, our emotions, and our physical self to truly birth things into the physical dimension. Yes, we can manifest from one of these things or another one of these things, but ultimately, if you really want to create a huge physical dimensional shift, you want to take a lot of action-oriented momentum, because the law of action is actually just the physical aspect of mirroring coming into play that says, I need to physically do things. I need to physically create things. I need to physically put momentum into it. Things aren't just coming down and handed to me. I need to put physical effort into what it is that I want to create. The next thing is that so many people in the law of attraction community are using law of attraction as a tool to escape polarity, to escape pain, to escape any discomfort. They're focusing on, I want to create this high vibrational reality where I don't have to have any of that. And a lot of it is very centered on the self. I want a lot of money. I want to go travel the world. I want this. I want that. There's nothing wrong with that, but it is at the expense a lot of the time of the world around them. They are creating this bubble where they are not taking into consideration the outside world, and they are not taking into consideration the consensus reality, the co-created consensus reality that we chose into when coming into this life. And we are that consensus reality. We're a part of it. It's an extension of us. And therefore, they're rejecting all of these aspects of self. They're rejecting the entire reason that they came down here in the first place, which was to experience polarity and pleasure, which was to experience both sides to the polarity, pain and pleasure. And the biggest problem with this is that their intention for manifestation is purely narcissistically based. It's all about themselves. It's at the expense of the reality around them. And on top of this, they end up creating more pain in this reality. And they end up creating more suffering and the real for everyone else and everything else they're interacting with, because they are stuck in narcissism where only things that fit into their desired outcome are taking their notice. Now, there is a huge problem with this. The entire reason they're doing this in the first place, though, is because they are intending to escape their own suffering. They're intending to escape pain. They are intending to escape unwanted experiences and escape feeling bad in their life, which is fine. Nobody wants to feel bad. Nobody wants to have these experiences. But these experiences are the very thing that we have come down to this planet to play with in order to make the magic mean more, in order to make the expansion even more incredible. And they're choosing because of suffering or because of lack or because of this or that. And they're rejecting this part of the human experience to such a high degree that they're unwilling to look at it. They're unwilling to experience it. And they're abandoning their higher self. They're abandoning their original intention for coming down here. And they are creating further pain and further suffering through being unwilling to consider the outside world in their actions and in their interactions, because it is all about what high vibrational reality they want to live in, which is out of reality with the world currently and the state of the world currently. There's nothing wrong with desire. We literally came down to this dimension to get what we want. The entire universe is in our favor of getting our desires met. And we are going to talk about what a more conscious, grounded way of doing that would look like, a more conscious, grounded way of manifestation would look like when doing that. Now, we have to start by understanding that we cannot escape suffering, that we cannot escape polarity. No matter what positive experiences you do want to create here for yourself, no matter what amazing desires you want to create for yourself, if we are constantly trying to avoid ever having anything bad happen to us and denying all of these aspects of polarity that are part of this physical dimension, we will be exiting the original intention and entering into more of that narcissistic intention that is all about the self never having to experience anything bad and wanting all of these high vibrational desires and things and not considering the state of the world today, not considering the pain people are in, and not being an active creator and helping with that, which is the biggest reason that anybody came down here to begin with. So a more integrated state of the higher self and a more integrated state of the physical self and the higher self together is to genuinely understand that we can consciously create our reality. We can empower ourselves. We can move towards creating magic in this life. But we have to be willing to face the suffering on this planet. We have to be willing to face the greater problems on this planet. We have to be willing to consider everybody and everything that we are interacting with on a daily basis, because they are all aspects of us. They're all aspects of this reality. And a much higher intention, a much more powerful intention when it comes to creating your own reality is the intention of manifesting from a place of, I want to create my reality for myself to live a life where I am healing, where I am creating magic, and I am allowing myself to transmute pain. I'm allowing myself to become the alchemy that is transmuting pain, and I am also being the catalyst to help everyone else do the same. To say that I am going to take every single aspect of this reality as a part of myself into account as I consciously create, as I consciously choose my reality, I am going to not only focus on how to heal myself, I'm not going to only focus on what magic I want to bring into my life, but I am also going to put my intention into how can I be a support and how can I consider the world around me to also help the world around me come into a deeper state of alignment as I come into a deeper state of alignment, and we're all going to go together and we're all going to experience more magic. And guess what? This kind of intention, not only is it going to bring you deeper states of magic, deeper states of amazing things than you could ever have in a narcissistic create your own reality system, but even though there are going to be painful things there or polarity there or this or that, those things are going to bring you to a deeper state of understanding what it is that you want and you don't want, a deeper state of expansion. And every time you go back towards that consciously creating the magic from that pain, from that suffering, from the unwanted, that magic is going to taste so sweet. That magic is going to be more incredible than it ever could if you were trying to run away from and deny all aspects of polarity that aren't a positive experience, aren't a feel-good experience. At the end of the day, the greater intention for every human being on this planet is to have connection, to be connected, to have intimacy with other, to bring these aspects of self closer to you in your heart. And to help the greater universe and the greater consciousness of humanity and this planet come into a state of healing and alignment, because things are not super amazing right now. And we need every single one of our powerful, amazing light workers helping to make that a reality. There is no greater gift. There is no greater nourishment. There is no greater magic than the gift of connection. When you create intimacy through understanding, seeing, taking others' best interests as a part of yourself, whether it's a tree or a person or an animal or the food that you're freaking eating, when you are doing this with the world, when you're doing this with your reality, every time you consider another, every time you are actually considering an aspect of self and you are coming closer to an aspect of yourself, and it feels like a returning home. And at our core, what we want, what we desire more than anything else is to be in a state of connection and intimacy with other, to return home again and again and again and experience different levels of connection and intimacy. When we come into this world of polarity and separation to unity, unity is the ultimate goal. And we can experience that unity through taking other into account. And that doesn't ever mean self-sacrifice. That doesn't ever mean that we're not going to have specific ego desires and a specific ego perspective where what we want in our best interest, which also gets to take account and priority with you and your individual experience and where you're moving from, has to be the ultimate priority at the end of the day. But you can always, always, always do so while considering other, while considering the outside world, and while helping yourself be a pillar of light to bring everybody else into a state of alignment at the same time, by being your best self and by creating that magic and by helping everybody else to come out of suffering into empowerment and create that magic with you. And there is nothing more deeply satisfying. And that is where the heart space is. That is where manifesting with the heart space is. That is an integrated intention for manifestation and creation. And therefore it will be the most powerful, the most full, and the easiest way to manifest. Because guess what? You will be manifesting, you will be creating, you will be consciously creating your reality, no longer from a place of trying to get away from your original intention from going down here, but you will actually be creating that intention while considering why you came down here, fulfilling your purpose, fulfilling your passion, and allowing yourself to be your highest version of self. And to return home again and again, and to be in your heart connected to this planet, to humanity, to all that is. And when you are doing that, you will not be running away from your prior intention from going down here. You will not be running away from aspects of your higher self. You will not be rejecting yourself in the outside world. And therefore, it'll be an integrated state of manifestation and conscious reality creating. And there's nothing easier than creating from that place, because you are not bulldozing or pushing against the entire freaking world and planet in order to get what you want. You are swimming through your reality, and you are allowing all of the water to move with you and to come in place with you. So I'm sending all of you guys, my human family, so much love, and I hope that we can consciously co-create our consensus reality together, our original and initial intention for coming down into this life.